Hi guys, today I'd like to talk a little bit about this. This is the Bremner SSHH Mute. This mute is probably one of the best practice mutes that I've ever come across. It was created by the Bremner clan here in New Zealand, and it's quite a simple, straightforward construction. This is, I think, the second generation of it. The first generation mute was just a straight cone, whereas this one has slightly curved edges here. But it features the same general principles. It's a plastic cone. It has a cork insulation pad here, which also helps the instrument, the mute, to stick to your inside your instrument. It has a plastic bottom that is, I think, heat welded, heat sealed onto the plastic cone shape. There is a hole centrally at the back of it, and if we look in this way, we can see that that hole is connected to a little bit of a tube. If I can just move it around to slightly show the depth of that. So this is the SSHH here. Now there are, I'm sure, dozens of resources online that say how good this is, and where other musicians give their personal recommendations. But what I'm going to do is play with and without this mute, whilst having a tuner attached to my instrument, and whilst also having a decibel meter, a crappy app on my phone, showing the effect that this mute can have in terms of auditory volume. The tuner that I'm going to be using is one of these tuners that clips onto your bell, and it has an internal microphone that it can use for tuning, or it's got these little pads here which can detect the vibrations through the bell of your instrument and give you a readout on this display. This is the trumpet that I'm going to be using for this demonstration. It is my knockoff Bach Stradivarius trumpet that I got for $280 from China. To check that we're starting from an in-tune position, here is a C. If I insert the SSHH Mute, this is the result we get. Even more in tune, somehow, than what it is without. So that is a good result for the SSHH Mute. And with the SSHH Mute, so with the SSHH Mute on that low G, it is a little bit off, but we could potentially chalk that one down to my playing and not the mute itself. So floating just potentially a little bit sharp there, but still very accurate. So that result was floating a little bit out as well. I'm not a professional musician by any stretch of the imagination. I've never been one. I'm more of just an amateur person who enjoys playing music from time to time. So potentially take these results with a bit of a grain of salt, but this is the results that I've got this morning playing with and without the SSHH Mute. What is perhaps going to be a little bit more interesting to test is the effect on volume that the SSHH Mute has. So I'm going to play just a couple of held notes now, and I'm going to have my phone showing a decibel meter, which is unfortunately the only decibel meter I have available to me, and I'm going to use that to demonstrate the effect on volume that the SSHH Mute has. I've just now changed the camera that I'm using because my phone here, which is the camera that I have been using up until now, actually has a better decibel meter on it than my work phone, which I'm now using to record the video. So my apologies if the camera quality has changed. So if I aim my trumpet in this direction, away from this decibel meter, just so it doesn't max out, without the SSHH Mute we get some readings about this level. That's sort of in the mid-90s without a SSHH Mute. Now with a SSHH Mute, And that's just sort of reading the inverted display that I can see. Sort of looked around the late 60s to around 70s. So that sort of shows about a 20 decibel difference with using the SSHHMute. So although this video has been taken in my garage, recorded on a couple of phones, which is unfortunately all the tools that I have available to me, hopefully it's given some practical demonstrations about what you can get out of one of these SSHHMutes. Lastly, I just want to show the different sorts of tones that you can get when you adjust the volume of air going through your instrument. Playing as quietly as possible through one of these SSHHMutes sounds a little bit like this. If I increase my volume, and as loud as I can play, so there we go. Just a very brief demonstration about my experiences of the Bremner SSHHMute. Thanks very much for watching.